Hi, I'm Brian Poole. I am the Tech Director here at National Trail. And this is intended to be a tour of our learning management system, Moodle. So Moodle stands for Module Object Oriented Dynamic Learning Environment. It's obviously an acronym, and I didn't make it, nor did I come up with it, but that's what it is. It is a free open source learning management system. It's like Progress Book on steroids. If you're used to Progress Book, it does easily 20 times more than that does. It's more like Blackboard or Canvas or Schoolology, one of the other major learning management systems. It is the biggest one in the world. It can be accessed by any device with internet, and it's hosted and run from a local server at National Trail. So if, for instance, we lose internet, you do not lose your learning management system, which is why I prefer to have it hosted here at National Trail. So why do we need an LMS? It connects teachers with students. It provides full support for a one-to-one environment, allows us to manage classes and guided activities, always accessible learning, blended learning. It allows you to be paperless as much as you want to. Since we're one-to-one here at National Trail with iPads or Windows 10 laptops in every classroom, you can do everything paperless if you desire to. I don't personally use paper for anything. You can gamify classes automatically using Moodle and some of the things that Moodle does, and it allows you to differentiate classes really seamlessly, or at least to students seamlessly. It has some great tools for that. This is what it looks like when a student logs onto Moodle. They see every time they log in if they've been absent, what their attendance is, all their classes that they're enrolled in, as well as the current grade in those classes, and it's as current as whatever their teacher is updated it. It shows a combined class calendar over on the top right hand side, which combines every activity from everything. I actually looked back in time for this one to April to kind of show what a student's calendar would look like, and then they can see anything that's upcoming down here under upcoming events. Because it's actually June when I do this, you can't see anything upcoming because they're all past, but they would see anything that's upcoming in their class if that was the case. Moodle's broken down into what are called resources and activities. Resources are those things that you post for them to see, view, read, listen to, watch, to access, and then activities are things that you want them to do something. And really the way you use the myriad of tools that Moodle provides you is up to you. So really there's very few requirements as far as it must look like this kind of thing. Past the basic requirements, it's up to your imagination how you use it in your class. This is what the resources are. They're called books, and I'm not going to teach you all these. I'm going to kind of show you one on the tour of the classroom, but not all of them. Book is just that. It's an online book that you can create. File is access to a file that you might post. Folder is a group of files that you can put all in one folder. A label is just kind of like that. And I'll show you, it's a label that you put on your course to highlight something, or words or pictures. A page is that. It's a page that you create. It's a sub-web page, and a URL is just a link to another page. These are just some of the activities. The biggest one you'll use on really a daily basis, the assignment. All Moodle grades have to be put in. Now all these can be graded activities, but a normal, what you think of as an assignment, is called an assignment. It can be offline, online, a combination of both, but we have all those things posted in Moodle so students know what and when assignments are, and so you grade them right there on Moodle. Attendance is a module that lets you keep attendance of what classes and what lessons students may have missed. Chat, and the ones that aren't linked, the ones that are black there that you see, are ones that very few people use. Chat is just that, an online chat that you can open up. During the COVID-19 crisis, we had that. Sorry, Google interrupted me there. We use the chat sometimes to communicate with students, but normally not a lot of people do. Choice allows students to choose between different things. I use that in my class, where they choose the subject of the next presentation or the next research project. Feedback is really an internal Moodle survey. Forum is just that, internal forum posting. Glossary allows you to build glossaries in your class. Again, not a very highly used one. Lessons are interactive lessons that you can build in Moodle that allow kind of a tracking to show that they've learned certain materials. Quiz is just that. It can be a summative quiz, one question. It can be a huge semester exam. There are tons of different types of questions that you can make in the Moodle quiz activity. And wiki is just that. It's a wiki. And I have that black because most people that used to do wikis really use Google Docs for that anymore, because multiple students can edit at the same time, whereas on the Moodle wiki it's closed while a student is doing the editing. So it's completely configurable to you as a teacher to look and feel the way you want it to. It allows autonomous differentiation, and I'll show you some of those things as a real basic overview, but it allows you to provide different resources and activities to students based on whether they're on a 504, an IEP, what their current grades are, and allows those things to just, once you set them up, to appear or disappear based on how they're doing in class and what they've done so far. It has some really cool things, and you can differentiate that, like I said, on groups, grades, geographic things, virtually any information that's out on a student you could use to differentiate it. Those are called restrictions, and it allows you to make students appear or make activities and resources appear and disappear based on any one of these restriction sets. And like I said on here, it can change literally minute by minute on what happens in a Moodle classroom. I'm going to kind of go through a class here, but just so you know, expectations are that all graded items should be posted on the Moodle class. Most of us put whatever you would have normally handed out to a student in a handout. We also put that in the middle thing in the Moodle assignment, so that it's very clear to students if they lose that piece of paper. And if you're a high school teacher, you know that very rarely does it even make it out of class, that they can refer to at any time. Any links that you want them to go to should start in Moodle. Moodle is our base place that classwork starts. So the link should be there to follow to somewhere else in Moodle. And then, depending on which school you're in, I can't speak for all of them, what date and time the grades have to be updated, but at least on a weekly basis, your students should be able to go to your course and say, this is my current grade in Moodle as of whatever the day that is. I think at high school it was Monday at 8 a.m. All grades were supposed to be current for the beginning of school on Monday. So let's go take a tour of Moodle, and I'm going to bring that up. Okay, so I'm logged in as a student. I actually changed their picture and their name so we wouldn't be showing an actual student. And this is this student's class, and I'm going to use my own class as a reference here, because if I go trying to give a tour of somebody else's, I'm not going to know where anything is. So if I go to my computer hardware class, the only thing that's really required as far as standardization in Moodle classes is that you have the table of contents on the top left, and that you have your sections named, so you can click right down and go to the specific section, and that you have the calendar on the top right, so that things that are assigned just show up in that section. Right now you can see I've set it up for the beginning of the school year. You can highlight whatever section you want, and I'm going to go ahead and go into my course introduction and kind of show you a couple things. So course, the activities in Moodle have different icons on the side to show what they are. So this is a page, this is a feedback, this is a choice, this is a posted PDF file, another choice, another page, and that is a label. That little line right there, I'm going to go ahead and go to section 2, and then you can see other ones. So like I said, teachers can do however they want to. However, we really want, this is about as big as you want a particular section to be. We'd like chapters broken up, or sections in Moodle broken up by either topics or units or chapters, whatever logically works for your particular course, just not quarters or semesters. That's just too much in one section, and you want your students to be able to go and say, oh, we're in chapter 4, and I click on there, and now I'm in chapter 4, and all those things to do with chapter 4 are there. In this course, mine is set up with restrictions, which is a whole different set of instructions, but that's why these check marks exist on the side. Basically, when a student comes in, they have to refer to and read my ICANN statements for this chapter first, and then when they come back, they'll see the self-assessment, and it'll allow them to answer these questions on their self-assessment on how they feel they are in this chapter, and then they'll go to and then reference to my Moodle book and so on and so forth. So all these things that are available to students that are in my course right now are put in there by me, and those are those activities that I want students to do. You can see here's the test for this particular chapter, and if he wanted to review that test, I don't have it. Oh, there we go. He would be able to click on there and see exactly which ones he got wrong, which ones he got right, which ones he got partial credit, and go through and review that particular test right there on Moodle as well. So it allows you to do a lot of stuff, and I know this is a very basic overview, and that's what it's intended to be, of the things that you can do in Moodle. And then we're going to have different classes on how to do those things. I will say that as a teacher, we have a course called the Moodle Certification, and the idea is that you will see a limited number of those options. You won't see all those activities or all those resources available to you. You'll have kind of a basic set to get started, and then after you've done the level 1 teacher certification, you'll see more options come up. And then when you do the level 2, there's a link, 2 levels of teacher certification, you'll see more options come up and available to you in the class. So that's really it. That's basic kind of introduction overview of Moodle, and then the Moodle certification course itself will serve as the individual instruction on all those things.